Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our TEPSA Presents Member Spotlight series. My name is Todd Neslony, and I am your host. I'm the Director of Culture and Strategic Leadership here at the Texas Elementary Principals and Supervisors Association. We are thrilled every week to bring you different members who are doing incredible work across the state of Texas, and I couldn't be more excited to interview Christy Watley today. Christy, thank you so much for being here. Tell everybody a little bit about who you are.
Well, hello, everyone. I am Christy Watley. Todd, thank you for having me on tonight. First of all, I want to say Happy Principals Day to all of our principals.
Yes.
So I hope that you were celebrated today by your campuses. And so hope you had a great day. I also want to say shout out to my Hewitt family. So Todd, a little bit about me. I'm Christy Watley, and I have many hats that I wear. First of all, and first and foremost, I am a wife and a helpmate to my husband, Derek, and we've been married for almost 19 years in July. I have 3 kiddos. I have Michael, Isaiah, and Maria. And then I am the proud principal of Hewitt Elementary in Midway ISD, and I'm also the current Region 12 TEPSA president. I'm also a daughter, a sister, an aunt, and a friend to many, so lots of hats that I wear.
I love that introduction show so much because it really does show all of who you are and that you're not just a principal or you're not just this or that. So I love that. So thank you for that. Well, let's get started. Let's jump right on in. Well, whenever we have these member spotlights, the first thing I always love to chat about is just kind of your journey. At some point you were in the classroom and either somebody gave you the idea or you thought maybe this campus leadership thing might be for me. And so how did that happen for you?
Okay, well, Todd, my journey was a little bit different. So I have to take you back just a little bit. So as a teacher, I did not get to, I went to school, I was going to college, but I did not get to finish right away. And so I had a child, I was a single mom. And so I had to work. And so I ended up becoming a paraprofessional for a few years in Waco ISD. So I worked there. I knew that I always wanted to be a teacher. It just took me a little while to get there. So I worked there, and then I ended up getting back into college at Baylor. I graduated, and I was able to start my first teaching position in Waco ISD as a 4th grade teacher. And so was able to do that for a couple years. And then I moved to a pre-K teacher. Then I moved districts, came to Midway ISD, and I was a special ed teacher here. And then I moved to kindergarten. And then I was asked to be a behavior coach. So within that, the whole time I knew growing up that I wanted to be a teacher, and I really didn't think about being a principal or an administrator. But throughout my journey of going to school and working in different campuses, I would have people ask, "Are you ever going to be a principal?" I'm like, "No, that's not for me. I love being with kids. That's what I wanted to do." And so I would always say no. But then I realized, even as a paraprofessional, I would always just would observe like the principals, the administrators, like, what they were doing or how they responded or reacted to certain things. And it was just always intrigued me. And so I realized that, I've always kind of thought about it, but never saw myself in that place. And so my last year of teaching kindergarten, I enrolled. I wanted to go back to school. And so I ended up going to Tarleton and went ahead and enrolled in the educational leadership program. And so as I was, going to school, we were also having some changes in our district here in Midway. And so I was getting ready to go to a different campus. And I remember that principal, because they had to interview us before we went. I remember her asking me, "Why do you want to teach here?" And I said, "Well, I'll be honest with you. I really don't. I want to teach here." I said, "But the real reason why I want to come to your school is because I want to see how you are, as the principal, are going to build a new culture. How you're going to build a foundation with all these new teachers coming from different campuses, but then also teachers coming into Midway. I want to see how that's done." That really interests me. And I thought, I don't think she's probably going to pick me to go to that campus, but she did. And lo and behold, within that time, that really ignited just that I really wanted to be a principal. That that spark came. Well, I was going to the new campus that was opening up, and then my former principal, or was going to be my former principal, called me and said, "Hey, Christy, do you want to be the behavior coach at Hewitt Elementary?" And I was like, "Well, what is that?" She said, "I really don't know, but we're going to figure it out together." Okay. And I said, "You know what? I'm up for that challenge. I know eventually I want to be an administrator. So I think this is a great door that would be open for me to get that experience."
Yeah.
And so it was. And from then I was able to be moved to Spring Valley as the assistant principal, interim first, and then the assistant principal. And I was there for 5 years. And then in 2016, my mentor and friend, Diane Goff, was retiring, and the position was open here. And so I was able to apply, and then ended up, becoming the principal here.
I
And
love that journey and all those unique experiences that you had leading up to it, because I feel like when you have that such a variety of experiences, that really helps you lead in a unique way to you. So I love that journey so much.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
Christy, when we talk about being a leader or just existing in the world today, technology is everywhere.
Yes.
And whether it's our personal lives or our professional lives, we're using different tech tools. So what's a tech tool that you enjoy using?
Well, I've got two. So the first one, of course, is Canva. I love Canva, and I know everyone talks about it, but I don't know if you've kind of started to look at more of the new things that are coming out. There's like a brainstorming part to it. So I utilize that with my staff, and because we're kind of revamping our vision statement. And so asking questions, so they're able to put all these it's like a sticky storm really, and giving all their ideas. And so that part, the brainstorming part, has been really neat. And of course, all their presentations are great, and they look professional when you utilize them. And then the other thing that I like is on your Google Suite. So within, of course, I like all, Google Forms and all those, just to send out to teachers and get feedback. But there's another part to it that I learned this summer, and it's Document Studio. So you're able, it's an extension, and I bought it. I didn't get to use it too much, but my AP, Nicole, is a whiz at it. And so she's been teaching me to use it. But you can enter in information, and then you can end up with this really nice document that's formatted, really nice. It looks very professional. It can be sent directly to a person or sent back to you, and it just looks so nice, and kind of helps with branding, and just looks really good. So Document Studio is really good. You should.
Well, I've never heard of the Document Studio, so I love that. I'll have to check that one out. But I love too that you talked about a tech tool that sometimes we hear often if we're out looking for them, and that's Canva. But like you said, there are so many layers to some of these tech tools that we don't even know like the great things. And I didn't even know that they have that sticky note type feature where people can go in and add all those ideas. So I love that you shared that as well. So thank you.
Yes. And then you can go back and organize just like you would if you're doing it like on a big sticky poster. So it was really neat to be able to do it. And then now I have all of all the information that they shared with us all in one spot. So
and I know that there's people who love the paper side of things, and it works great too. But I gotta tell you, the digital thing for me is the reason I love it, is because I can have it no matter where I go.
Yes.
So I'm not having to constantly lug stuff. It's like, oh, I know where this is on my drive. I can access it that. So I love that you shared that way to do that. Well, Christy, obviously too, culture building is huge. And you even talked about it in your own journey about wondering how they were going to build culture when you started at a new campus. And so share with us a culture building idea that either you've participated in or you've done that you think others could benefit from.
Okay. Well, number one, I think, first of all, is just knowing your staff and getting to know your staff. We all like to be praised. We all like some affirmation. And of course, not everybody. People have different love languages. But I know that staff really like to get those handwritten notes. And so one of the things that I still can try to do, and sometimes, sometimes we don't get to them all the time. And then it's like I'm trying to write like 10 of them at a time. But I think that's a really good one, just like an oldie but goodie, to continue to do that, to write those handwritten notes to your staff, custodians, and don't forget about your cafeteria people and your secretaries, like everyone that is part of your campus. We should acknowledge them at some point. throughout the year. And, I would love to do it more, but, we get busy, but just even a text, just letting them know how much you appreciate them, because they are in the trenches and they are working hard. A lot of times, like, we're here leading, but they're doing the work and they are there. And so we've got to acknowledge and praise our teachers and staff that are on our campus. But the other thing that I learned is that teachers like to have fun. They love to have fun. And so, like, what I've learned on our campus is we like to do a lot of games. We like to do a lot of activities. And maybe at the beginning, sometimes teachers maybe don't want to do it. But then once they start doing it, they have so much fun. And they're like, oh my gosh, that was so fun. Well, one of the things I started doing was an egg hunt, an adult egg hunt for our teachers. And so I, looked to my PTA and talked to people about donating some like prizes. And so we'll put like the numbers in the egg, and then we'll number our prizes, put candy. And at my campus, there is a huge field out in the front. And so we get anywhere between 350 to 400 eggs, and I'll have either my leadership team or our principal's cabinet fill those with the numbers, and then we go spread them out. And that Thursday before we get out for Easter, I'll have everybody to come bring your basket, bring your bag, whatever you want to pick up eggs. And so we just line up outside and, we count out 1, 2, 3, and they run. And I'll tell you, to hear the giggles and the screams, the laughs, and, trying to beat people to these eggs is just priceless. And I love it. That's one of my favorite things. We do a lot of them, a lot of different things, but that is my favorite because it lets them just kind of be a kid again and race. This year we had to do it inside our library because it rained. But that was just as fun because they were like scrounging everywhere, looking through the books and looking in cabinets. We still didn't find 3 eggs, so I still have 3 prizes. So whenever we find those eggs, I'll give those prizes out. But that has been a lot of fun, just knowing when to just be able to put something in where teachers can have fun and laugh and get together. I think those are important.
Well, I love that you share that idea too, because I think it's such a reminder that the job that we do is hard and it's emotionally taxing just as it is physically and all these other mentally. And so to be able to embrace our inner child anytime we can is not only just great for the soul, but it's a good stress reliever too, just to disconnect and just remember what it was like to just laugh about something silly. So great idea. Well, Christy, throughout these conversations, we can always use advice from our fellow leaders. So what's a piece of leadership advice that you'd want to share today?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I'd just like to say, give yourself some grace and understand that you're not going to know everything. I think that was, I knew early on, I'm like, I don't know it all, but I knew that there was people that did know a lot. And one of them was my mentor, Diane Goff, who was the former principal. And then my principal that I worked under as an AP, who was Jay Fisher. And so I was able to call them when I needed to talk or I had a question, and they can ask you. I'd say, hey, I have a question. That was probably either my email, my text, or so they knew, or they'd pick up the phone and say, hey, do you have a minute? And then being able to ask them the different questions that I needed to know, or just, run something by them, or just to even vent. I mean, I learned that the principalship and leadership is sometimes a lonely job, and you have to find your people that you can call and that you can talk to. And now, I don't have to call them anymore. And sometimes, I know Diane was like, you don't ever call me, but, you grow as a leader. And then you become either a mentor to others, or you find someone that's continuing to help you grow. And now I'm able to call my Midway principal colleagues and, kind of bounce ideas off of them. And then, even through TEPSA, gaining some friendships and being able to contact people just to run things by. You need that. And so as a first year principal, you have to know that you need somebody to talk to.
Well, I think that's great advice, is that constant reminder of, though people like to come to us for all the answers, we don't have to always have the answers, especially
Right.
in that moment. And so having those connections with people and leaning into other people's strengths is great advice. So thank you for that. Well, Christy, if
Well, I
people
have one
want
more.
to, yeah, go ahead. Share. I will take
I
more.
was just going to share that they also need to make sure that they join TEPSA because it is it's vital. I didn't know as an AP what TEPSA was about. I just was told, hey, you're going to join this organization. You need it. Okay. And then lo and behold, just getting to know our, going to meetings and then going to summer conference and learning about TEPSA. I learned the benefits far outweigh just joining, but you've got to make yourself available to participate and go to summer conference.
Yep.
Try to join your region meetings, and you'll get to meet different people, and then through that you'll network and be able to call on anybody at any time because of the relationships that you build either in your region but then outside of your region with everyone else. So yeah.
That's such good advice too, because this job is hard and lonely, and the more connections we can have, the better. So, Christy, if people want to connect with you anywhere, are you on any social media?
I am. I'm on Facebook, and it's just Christy Rangel Watley. Also on Instagram, Christy Rangel Watley, and then my Twitter account is Christy R Watley.
There we go. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, Christy, thank you so much for being here. We hope everybody has enjoyed this conversation. Don't forget, join us at our TEPSA Summer Conference, June 7th through 9th at the Kalahari Resort in Round Rock, Texas. You will not want to miss a fantastic 3 days of learning, of engaging with your fellow colleagues. And guys, there are already over 2,100 people registered. So you're going to find somebody to connect with when you come to something like TEPSA. So thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you join us next week for an all-new Member Spotlight.